How do you think about career progression in the life science industry? Is there a conventional path or is it more fluid than that?
That's very interesting. I'm still learning and figuring this out myself, but so far, my key takeaways is that in certain life science sectors such as consulting, at least for the initial 3 to 6 years, career progression can be a little bit well defined in that sense. So in many consulting firms, you would typically start off as what's known as an analyst or associate. Different firms call it differently, and then and that's a pretty much an individual contributor role. And as you progress in your career, you might become a senior analyst or senior associate, and then perhaps an engagement manager, and so on and so forth. So there's a sort of strict hierarchy and definition in some industries. However, if we look at certain other industries such as, let's say, venture capital or biotech, things can be a little bit more fluid. So it does vary a little bit, and that's where, again, it's important to create mentorship networks and seek out what's really the next best step for your career, whether that's within your organization or outside.
And for someone who is 2 or 3 years into their career and feels stuck or unsure of where they should go next, what their next move should be, what would be your advice?
I would say it's always important to kind of look out at what's out there, and sort of not get into this rabbit hole of developing a very strong identity about your professional self. Like, those identities could be around values, etc. But if one starts to think, hey, I am a life science consultant, or hey, I am a venture capitalist, etc., that's when you're purposefully sort of narrowing what you could be, and there's nothing in the world that's pushing you to choose a singular identity. So my suggestion would be to always keep your eyes open as to what's happening around. It's an exciting time out there with all of this AI technologies coming in. There's a lot of new, very unique types of roles coming in these days as well, which may or may not collide with your initial sense of identity about what your career is, but there's a scope of experimentation and revisiting that self-identity from my perspective.